And we should be live, perhaps. Hello. What do you mean? What do you mean? Don't ruin my groove. Anyways, hello everyone. Welcome back to another discussion by yours truly, as well as my usual three joiners, Irby.
Hello.
Hello, Irby. Zalgas.
Hi there.
Yo. And Milk.
Hello.
So if you wish to vote for Amatsumara in chat, reply with old man emoji, lemon, or melon emoji. So there you go, I'll count those later. Anyway, today we'll just be talking about the Fashionista content. So there are a few new ARs as well as a few new Evos. With that out of the way, let's just go ahead and jump right in. Welcome back everyone, J-Bear Hidden, Jean, and let's do this. Oh my god, fucking Hidden. So we'll be starting off today with the 5-star AR. This is going to be covered by one of the three, which I haven't remembered the word list, so go ahead, one of you. Go ahead.
It's me.
One of you.
Oh god, loud. The damn video started playing. Right, so this AR, it's okay, I guess. So it gives two things related to charm. It gives a 2x multiplier to charm affected enemies, and it gives a charm resistance buff to self on face start. Now, the charm immunity will be, of course, useful whenever it's relevant. If it's a map that has heavy charm infliction, since it's a regular buff, and Itzamna and Wakan Tanka can both equip this AR, you can spread charm immunity through them if you really want. Although I question how effective that would be, because it actually lasts a really short amount of time, only 2 turns. So it might be difficult to spread, but I don't know, Itzamna can do it on demand, so it's probably not too hard, but at least it means that if you're trying to use it for triggering on buff skills, then you'll probably be able to get plenty of use out of this, since I'm sure the buff will run out and then you can have it next phase start and whatnot. The advantage against charm is whatever, but again, nice when you have synergy in the team somewhere. For characters who can actually inflict charm and equip this AR so they can take advantage of it natively, there's Christmas Eye Gear on turn start. He also has it on attack, but that's after attacking, so not so much there. There's Catoblepas, which is actually when attacking, and he already has charm advantage anyway. He already has ×2, so that can stack nicely. You could also equip on Summer Shiva, who he inflicts it when being hit, I believe, but he also already has a 4x advantage against charm, so you could double that up if you really wanted. And then there's Shinya, who he has a whole skill evo revolving around charm that makes him reasonably able to inflict charm based on his CP level, so he can get up to like a 60% charm rate, and he inflicts charm weakening or something that I forget what it does exactly, but I think it lowers the defense.
It decreases their skill activation rate
Skill
by 6.
activation, yeah.
But they're already charmed, so they can't
that's
move.
why it was useless.
Yeah, that's why it's useless.
The only thing it affects is like turn start stuff, I guess,
Well, there's after being hit and stuff.
Yeah. That's kind of silly, but yeah, Shinya does synergize with it decently. So not really a great AR, that I'd say, because it's really narrow in application. You only bring the charm resistance when the map is charm heavy, and that doesn't really happen that often. And the ×2 charm damage we don't get that many units who inflict charm. But I guess if you have people on your team who can inflict charm, you can bring it, I guess. But besides that, also, for some reason, the phase start charm resistance starts at 80%, and that's annoying.
But yeah,
at least it's high enough. Yeah, at least it's high enough that you can reasonably rely on it, I guess.
I mean, if they didn't have that, then there'd be like almost no reason to max this AR. So there's a reason that extra 20%, I guess. Alright. Is that all your thoughts then?
What thoughts are there to have?
Alright, were you about to say something, Harvey?
I think it can also be useful on everyone that inflicts charm as a sort of countermeasure against reflect debuff. So if the units eventually have reflect debuff and they eventually reflect back the charm, this can help prevent that. Because I know this is a very niche thing, but it happened before with me, and not exactly with charm, but other statuses. Actually, it did happen with charm with me when I was trying to use Christmas Dead, and it was very annoying. So yeah, it can be used on that scenario as well. For charm users to be immune to their own charm in case it gets reflected.
That is pretty niche, to be honest, but okay.
Yes, but it happened, and I thought I should mention it at least.
Alright. Looking for that Shiva protection, even though he already removes his own debuffs. Yeah, don't have too much to add on this. Christmas Tiger and Tsukuyomi, of course, they're like the only damage dealers who also inflict charm, so they would best benefit from this. Even though Tsukuyomi's charm rate and range is pretty shit. You may also want to equip on someone else the AR that inflicts charm in shot range. Then you just do the move around thing, and then the other unit who's equipping this one can actually do extra damage. A bit of a hassle, but it's an option.
I mean, most of the units I listed have pretty terrible charm rates anyway. Like they range from like 20 to 40% besides Shinya. And I guess Catoblepas when you have his whatever strengthening up.
Yeah. It's not amazing. Most of the ones I have listed here, now that I'm looking at it again, I feel like they weren't even mentioning just because they're like abysmal charm rates in the first place. Because like there are some other better charm rate users, but a lot of them aren't even like able to equip this one specifically. So what are you gonna do? And like even the ones who can, like Hakumen, for example, I mean, it's like, yeah, she can charm, but she doesn't even do that much damage to begin with, so you're just getting like a regular damage buff at that point at her mediocre charm rate. So better options at that point.
Yeah. Also, referring to the reflect debuff thing, I have actually had charm reflected back at me quite a few times in a specific high difficulty quest while using Typhon. Unfortunately, Typhon can't equip this, so that's point.
Yeah.
It's the water one in the Gendarme CQ that is good for water weeklies, but yeah, unfortunately, I can't equip that, so pointless there.
Oh, it's that frozen slope. And you
Yeah,
have the-
where like all the enemies have buff reflect on phase start.
Okay.
I don't know. You could equip on Fashionista Suzuka too if you actually like using her. It's an okay meme, I guess. Not much to say about this one. Alright. If we're all done talking about this AR very energetically, then you are free to re-up the comments, Salkas.
Oh, the pod is in the way. There we go. A bunch of old man emojis. Hello. Hello, Zenu. Oh, yes, Aaron, do you have any comments on this?
Oh yeah. Thank you for the 25 minus 5 hidden. I was just talking it over before the stream began. They were like, oh, where's Amatsumara? And I was like, I mean, there's only 4 slots I can include in these spells. Like, you got a deal.
You could link to a, whatever they're called.
Fuck too much
Sure.
effort. What the hell? This too high.
Actually, very sad. Suzuka has 0 votes so far. This is sad. Remember, Flat is justice. Justice for Suzuka.
I would vote for her, but I can't vote on my own polls. This is rigged. Actually, it would be rigged if I could vote, but whatever.
help, not the sad music, as soon as they declare it useless. Okay, well, it's not useless, but I do think it's not that good and really doesn't really deserve the 5-star slot, if I'm honest. This poll is rigged. No Amatsu or Sath. Yeah, where is Sath?
Okay, Amatsu and Sath aren't even new, and Sath didn't even get an Evo in this batch. Like, calm down. Like,
Yeah,
I could
but
see an argument maybe for Amatsumara with his Evo, but, you know.
Yeah, he's also getting a character quest, but Sath is getting absolutely nothing here, so... Not Sath.
This is bullshit. A long time no see. Hello, lol. I get more damage, yes please. This AR is bad because Fencer can't equip it.
Oh my God.
Yes, that's, you can't equip it. You're right. It's bad.
Too much effort for an extra $5. That adds up, you know.
I'm not saying it's too much effort, I'm just saying it's... What's it called? Too much effort for you guys, not me. Like... No one's gonna review these polls and be like, oh yeah, that poll was really important. I need to review it from this one discussion. No, these are just for fun. Calm down. Alright, moving on, if that's it then. We'll be talking about the next AR. That was fast for the first topic. This is going to be handled by Irby, maybe?
Oh, it's not me.
And this is me. I'm just assuming it's everyone else but me. My bad. Yes, this is my topic. This is the Suzuka Tsukuyomi AR. I like Suzuka a lot, and I'm pretty okay with Tsukuyomi, so I like this art too. But yeah, this AR essentially makes everyone into a fashionista. If you don't know, like back in the heyday, they sometimes for certain events or certain guilds, they decided to give them a common skill. And the common skill for the fashionista banner originally was giving everyone ardor adjacent on like face start, as well as being able to pull units in shot range within turn start. I think that was it anyways. So now you can get the pulling part on everyone, or not everyone, but everyone is Ether and Infernal, so that's neat. As for its applications, it's still restricted by its own attributes, but at least it's not like weapon type restricted. So essentially, yeah, just bring this AR with units that have low range and also are meant to be attacking. Not necessarily those who are damage dealers, but who you want to attack in general. So this list will range from Tsukuyomi 3, who's got evasion, I suppose, regular Suzuka, with her Evo being able to long slash people with crit. She's a bit of a damage dealer. Fashionista Suzuka, so that she can actually hit people with her low or thrust range, depending on if you move or not, like concentration punch. Nodens for the crit and paralysis. Miniaki for his hot swings variant for all his debuffs. Jamboree Aizen for his crit. Neglos Kasuga, Unfurl the Seals Ifrit. The list is quite long. Kengo, Shino, Snow, from the Time Slip. Tajikaro from his River event. Taishakuten, I guess. Yamasachi Hiko from the recent event, the Summer Pool Twilight one. And maybe even throw this on some mobs if you want, like the Chairman Tip or Night Count, to get their effects going off, which they're quite strong, but the downside for them is they're quite short range too, so they could be good mob memes there. But yeah, that's pretty much all my thoughts on this AR.
I'll just say that equipping this on Nodens is completely useless because he already attracts enemies in sniper range by 3 squares.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I forgot about
mentioned
that.
that.
I don't use Notice
Oh,
enough, okay.
I mean, pretty much no one does, but yeah.
Or
I just remember his kit because I tried to use him a lot. But then end up never uploading my clears with him because 50% crit low.
I mean, yes, but also, again, this is probably not going to be something you're going to be grinding with, in which case it's probably going to be challenge quest material effect. And if you're doing a challenge quest, then you can reroll as much as you want. And 60% isn't so bad for a reroll, right?
No, it is kind of bad.
You guys, seriously, where's the enthusiasm?
Yeah, you can just use the Goemon set. Yeah.
Isn't that like only base start or something?
Yeah, but it's more reliable. You probably only need one time.
Yeah, that's true. Turn start pull isn't quite as important. Still,
Yeah, I'm
it's...
not a fan
Sorry?
of these like low rate pulls because it's just like really inconsistent. It's already kind of hard to think about.
Yeah, the Goemon set one already fails enough times for me to pass out. So no thanks.
Yeah, the
60% is too low.
Yeah, it's really terrible.
Well, at least Suzuka looks stylish in it, and that is fine. I didn't get this AR though. I actually got the next AR we're going to be talking about. I think I'll just read over the comments and then just move on since no one cares about this AR.
Did you mention the CS multiplier?
No, there's like a million ARs with the CS multipliers. Why do you always pay attention to that? Jeez.
Because it's the first
It's important
one.
part.
Oh
Infernal.
my god, you guys suck.
Well, at 4-star anyway. There are already 5-star Infernal one, like 2 5-star Infernal ones, but this is the first 4-star Infernal CS multiplier up. So if you really want it, then here's a slightly more common one for you. Please don't pull for that. That's pointless.
Yeah, no, don't pull for this.
Look, I
Yes,
think
you
it's
really
useful
like
as another option. Like, you're not always going to get the goal on AR. And plus, who knows, maybe you want to pull everyone within like a 12 map, and then, what's it called? But you don't want to bring any native pullers, so you just bring a bunch of ARs that pull, including this one. So, maybe. Who knows?
I mean, yeah, it's fine for that. Like, the functionality is fine, it's just the rate.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the way I put it is like it's like trying to use Summer Thunderbird for his pull, and then realizing that it's not always 100%, and then looking like a clown.
Alright. Yeah, it would be actually quite good for something like grinding if it did have a guaranteed rate, but as a result of this mediocre rate, it's pretty much just going to be useful only for like challenge quest themes.
Just max the AR. There you go. Problem solved.
Yes, of course. Everyone max ER, you heard Irby, brilliant switching. Alright, I'll read the comments now. Yo, Godly Rival, welcome. The art is nice, I do agree with that. Big heart eye emoji. Gozu Farm is amazing. You can give this to Kengo 4. I think I mentioned that, but... yeah, Kengo would definitely like to use it since he's got those damage buffs, but he doesn't really have any mobility, so to speak, so pulling the enemy closer would help in that way. You can equip it on Azazel as well. I mean, he doesn't really need it, but okay. The art on the AR is good at least. Okay, but what Infernal unit do you want more CS damage on? Arachne, because what's it called? Max Sacred Artifact level.
She also generates an insane amount of CP, as we will talk about later. I guess there's also Shino Vanilla, who generates an okay amount of CP. But besides that, there aren't many choices for people who want to CS as Infernal.
I don't even remember what Dagon's charges, so you're gonna have to consult or you to fact check.
It's just evasion.
Evasion one's Caravan. It's pretty good actually.
And push back.
It's okay. Alright, well, let's just go to the next topic then. We will now be covering the big boob, small boob AR. This will be handled by someone. Go ahead.
It's me.
Here,
okay.
brother.
What?
Nothing, go ahead.
I have no idea, but I'm just gonna start talking about this AR then. I think this is probably, just in my opinion, the best AR of the batch. The reason being is because it's another evasion sort of piercing AR. And it's available on almost all the missing weapon types. Blow, slash, and long slash. We don't actually have a lot of units, or almost any units that can pierce evasion on these ranges, because usually evasion is a mechanic used for units in the back line, not in the front line. But this can be used by units that do have weapon change, like for instance Takemi Nakata would be very useful for him if you don't have already the the Arsalan and the Avarga AR that pierce all defense buffs. That is, this is a nice alternative if you need to pierce evasion with him, since he's primarily a farming unit. This gives him the option to pierce evasion without a 5-star AR. Another unit that this can be used with is...
I like how you say without a 5-star AR, and there's like only one AR that does that.
Yes,
Don't want to say my
there's
name.
only one AR that does that, and it's 5-star, but this one is more easily accessible, and so that's kind of like what I meant. You can also equip this on Summer Shiva and other units with weapon change, like if you really want Jiangshi, Tetsuox, or Hephaestus 3-star for some reason. So yeah, you can pierce evasion with almost all units now if you have this AR and the Katoshi Bafin AR. The only weapon range is missing, like snipe and none, but nobody cares about none. Piercing evasion, and the other effect that this AR has is a 15 to 30% effect that basically heals the unit the CR is equipped on and the units directly next to it after buff. So this rate is very low, but it is an after buff effect, and even though the heal is not very big, this can actually proc a few times. So it's deceptively, I wouldn't say deceptively high because it's not high, but it's deceptively higher than what it seems, because after buff can trigger multiple times. If you give the unit that is equipping this AR, you'll likely get at least 1 or 2 heals off per turn, which it's still only going to be 150 to 300 HP, most likely 150, since you're not going to max this AR. But it's still going to trigger at least. It's not like it's and leaked AR with like turn start.
No, not those ARs.
So this is actually probably going to proc every turn or every 2 turns. It's going to proc if you're buffing the unit. So I think this is pretty neat.
Yeah, that's a potential to be quite good even at low level because of that after buff effect. Keep in mind, it's like healing is low, yes, but when you're doing healing, ideally you're also pairing it up with defense buffs. So as Irby said, it's more of a long-term thing. You'll probably get several procs over several turns, and in that case it starts making up for itself. It's not going to do massive like amount of healing per turn though. On average, it's more like across a very long game. It'd be quite useful.
Yeah. Oh, right. I forgot to say something. You can also put this on Perrin, so he can also pierce evasion if you're using him.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's pretty that he's able to not pierce evasion. And yeah, those are all my thoughts.
Wait, does Magic have an AR that can pierce?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that because
I forgot about Magic.
They do not, and that sucks the most because I would really enjoy having a Magic range pierce.
Well, I can't think of any applications, so
Christine.
For me,
you're just saying Perrin. Jeez, that's the only reason I brought it up.
Well, Christine stopped existing when Perrin released. Sorry.
Sometimes being a 5-star unit just means you get the good ARs.
I'm only saying this because it sucks that Anvari is paradoxically terrible for coin farming because of the bloody evasion in the coin weeklies.
You can make Merc with Nomad, I guess, if you have them.
Well, I mean, that's the key word, isn't it? Or the key phrase.
Yeah. Or you could just use Nicholas Gorgani and forget about Anvari entirely.
I mean, he's limited, so...
True.
And 5-star.
Maybe one day we'll get an AR that can pierce evasion for non-snipe and magic. One of these days. Hello, Milk. Are you there?
Beach Kotaro is over. even though you're the only one who uses him now, Aura.
For like 1 year or two.
Okay, it's not my fault. It's not like I'm stuck with him because I keep on choosing and no other ones. I actually just don't have any other options. Like, my 5-star luck for like board wipers has been fairly unlucky, honestly. So Kotaro, for better or worse, has been working so far.
For like serious thoughts about this AR, it looks like Laughing Girls. Okay, I didn't have any serious thoughts about it. But
Alright, I should have talked about it.
But yeah, it's a very funny looking AR. I kind of want it just for that.
Yeah, I was pulling for that AR. I haven't actually got it. I'm very happy with Arachne's cleavage as well as her like grotesquely long like kiss tongue out. I don't know how to describe it. Something about her tongue being out is really off-putting.
We've all seen your edit now.
Okay, if no, everyone is just mesmerized by looking at this AR. You're free to read out the comments, and if that's it from you, Milk.
Weren't you going to say something else, Milk, though?
Oh, I was just gonna say it looks like a tongue. I didn't really know what the edit was.
I will show you one day. Okay.
I'll show it to you right now, actually, but go ahead and read the comments while I go fetch that meme for Milk.
Where did we stop? Was it Gozu Farm is amazing, right? No, King of Four.
We were on. That adds up, you know. Oh yeah, that is correct. Yes.
Where is that? Okay, I see it. Oh, it's right here.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Hi, the art is nice. Heart eyes emoji. Gozu Farm is amazing. You can give this to Kengo 4.
I've read those already.
I thought we read these.
Yeah, we did. The last one was Dagon.
Oh, right,
Okay,
yeah.
Dagon. Okay.
I completely tuned out Ara reading the comments.
Tuning me out? Seriously? Rude.
The Scissoring AR. Yes. Shooting Stars number 2. Yes, it's essentially just Shooting Stars number 2. Slicing Star. Scissoring Star. Pierce Woo. Wish I got this AR. Would have been nice to update my coin farming team. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty useful on if you don't have Christmas Nomad or if you're not using shot units and are using like Takemiya Kato or even Summer Shiva actually. Now you can just solo it with Summer Shiva, I guess. But what about Astarte Evasion Piercing? Yeah, we don't care about Astarte Evasion Piercing. People only use her with Shenong anyways, so she's going to pierce the evasion. I do love the after buff that it heals. Can they stop buffing Cthulhu with ARs? Oh, you're right. I guess you can equip it on Cthulhu if you really wanted to. You can give this to base Yasuyori so he can now pierce all defensive buffs. Does Yasuyori pierce defense buffs?
1.5 times multiplier against all standard defense buffs.
It's not piercing, it's just advantage then.
It's only half. He only pierces. Oh yeah, right. He only pierces defense buffs by half. Christine v Kengo v Beller as Heracles, to name a few more. I wouldn't use on any of those myself.
I mean, I would use it on Balor if I needed, because he would just blow them up. But
what do you mean you wouldn't use V-Ball or V-Kanga? I'm pretty sure you were pulling for both before. I think you're just saying that because you're too satisfied with Shiva.
No, I'm saying I wouldn't use them on quests that had evasion.
I see.
I
mean, you would if they had evasion.
Because usually the quests where I'd want this are farming quests, and Balor and Kengo don't deal exactly consistent damage. Kengo takes a while for his HP to go low, and Balor needs to charge after for a few turns.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Valor's plenty. I mean,
They do massive damage at the base rate.
Yeah.
Yes, they can stronger.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
with
like
Thorn and-
bad at the beginning.
with Thorn and Crit, Valor can pretty much blow up any farming map. Unless you
Yes,
like
but you
prefer.
need to wait for the charge. That's why I'm streaming.
You don't need to wait for Valor's charge. If he's attacking, then he'll be emptying out his CS,
Yeah, the
CP.
crit and run just is already strong enough. Yeah, you can get stronger.
Not so, not so
I'm pretty sure it's still eventually is going to CS because every time I use him, he eventually does CS anyways.
He has to hit at least 3 units, I think, to balance out the CP.
Continuing the comments, please.
Let's continue the comments. Vikengo really is good, but not affiliated with this AR for magic ranged units that would kill for evasion. They were just talking about that. 2 Queen, Beach Hotaru plus non-evasion AR, double evasion poggers. I'm pretty sure that's not how it works, but you can try it out if you want. Crossing Scissors, double evasion piercing. What is this pull, lol?
It's the best pull.
Now Fencer can pierce evasion. Yes. Beacher 2. Yes, finally. Fencer can finally pierce evasion. Does this work with Parent CS? Yes, it does. Harviki, so true, bestie. There you go.
Alright, let's move on before the fencer starts spreading and infecting us all. We will now be talking about the 3-star AR, which is probably the one everyone was trying to pull for the most, ironically. So, go ahead. This is Milk, I believe.
Yes. So this is the Wakan Zab AR. It's the 3-star AR drawn by Phi. And it gives taunts at phase start at a 50% to 100% rate. And it allows you to deal 1.4 more damage to Ardor affected enemies. Its restrictions are blow and thrust. This is an AR that pretty much almost no one is ever going to use. And if somebody does use it, it's probably going to be on a challenge quest due to taunts being 50%. Honestly, taunt in itself is not a really great mechanic because it's usually just easier to manipulate enemies' AI if you're a person who does like to cheese challenge quests rather than depend on the 50% taunts. Most of the people who use taunts, like I guess Halloween Alp can't equip this AR because it's blow and thrust. And you also have like Hombre Tigre who already has phase start taunt.
Yeah,
Those
completely
examples
redundant.
don't apply. Yeah, those examples don't apply here, basically. So it's kind of this AR is just kind of weird. I guess personally I would just use it for a free buff against people with after buff CP, or more straightforwardly people who want to be hit. The example that I would personally use would be Nightmare Jamba, just because he's kind of like a somewhat shitty unit that I would use for a CQ. He gets cursed after being hit. I also use it on J-Kagu and Yorm 3-star because they have after buff CP. And there's also Ulan 5 who also has the same effect. But overall it's pretty limited. I guess you could use it on general tanks as well, like 5-star Zab and F-Wakan, I guess. But really, it's just, I don't know what to make of it. It's a 3-star AR, and not very many people are going to use it in the first place. So that's pretty much it.
I feel like I'll be remembering this AR because, like, the other taunt AR seemed like it could have been useful. It's just that it had a really kind of useless effect or timing where they would get it after they were hit, which is okay, sure. At that point, they already have aggro probably, but this one they can preemptively get it. So, like, Yes, it'll only be in challenge quests, but that doesn't necessarily make it a bad thing. Like, a lot of units only are really useful for just challenge quests. That doesn't mean we're going to say that they're not very useful.
Yeah, it's just kind of like a weird mix though, because the people who like this AR are people who like being hit, and that is kind of like a meta that people don't really care about. Like, I think I only remembered it now because he's so forgettable, but I guess Horus 5 would be good for it, because he has a bunch of after being hit effects. But yeah.
What do you mean? Fashionista Zabaniyya is right there.
Oh, I mentioned him already.
Oh, I missed it.
But yeah, there's like Horus, who's like completely forgettable.
That's true.
I mean, Horus doesn't need taunt.
That's true.
Really.
I actually did. I did say something to the likes of, what's name 2 more forgettable reps than Tita and Marduk, and someone said Horus, and I was like, whoa, I completely forgot he existed.
Wow.
Which was funny.
Though honestly, he hasn't appeared in anything important yet.
Oh, and I guess you can put it on Echo if you like really want her to get hit faster.
Yeah, I would say that's one of the good, more obvious choices.
But yeah, it's kind of like a really niche AR. Like, maybe it'll appear in a meme someday, but I don't really see it right now. And especially with the way the challenge quests are being designed recently. So yeah.
Dude, that's assuming there is design in challenge quests recently.
I'd say it's just quite potentially useful if you really just want to, like, activate someone's, when being hit effects immediately, and you don't really care about them living or not. So you could just do your usual punishers like Kushi if they're out of range, for example, or as you said, Echo. Abisu does like nullify buff for something like that. You can also do C-Tree, which would be a pretty interesting choice. Christmas C-Tree, that is. So that he can actually, what's it called?
Spread taunt to the team.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, taunt to the entire team. Wow,
spreading it to
so
Alp, obviously. Not really.
Wow.
There's a Oguchi Mogami, so that'd actually be quite good on him. Although I feel like you mentioned that already. And near last step, of course, does fear if he's the one with that for some reason. But more than that, you could also just bring units that you're intending to just die right away. So you could bring Tetsuaki's 3 for remove all debuffs and like a fairly fat heal at 2k. Or you could bring his Jiangshi variant and get attack up and defense up when he leaves. So that's pretty good. There's Alchemist if you want killing for whatever reason. Kasuga gives
you can also
negative 5
right.
and burn. Oh, and there's a Halloween. Never mind. Actually, I was about to say something that they wouldn't be able to equip. Sarge Hugo can equip this though, I think. Can't he?
He is thrust.
Yes, he can.
Thrust.
Thrust.
Yeah, so it'd be good on him because
generally he has...
he leaves with healing and CP and remove all debuffs.
Generally he has generally you want to move Sartahiko, and I thought he had guts somewhere. So
yeah, he has guts on move and Adamantine as well.
Well, you don't have to move him as a thing, right? If you're planning to immediately sacrifice him for 50 CP, that's an option.
I mean,
okay.
I guess you can do that with Pristine as well.
Yeah, it's an option. I'm not saying it's the only option that makes him. Whoa, this AR is big. It's a 3-star AR. Yeah, come on, give me a break. But it has some utility there. Okay.
I think you should pair whoever is equipping this AR with Claude.
No, let the Ardor advantage means die.
Yes, the Ardor. Let's go.
Stop. No one wants to take advantage of Ardor.
Yeah, I was actually
there's actually a lot of ARs that give advantage to Ardor, isn't there?
Use it with
like,
no, you can't equip it on snow.
There's like the Snow Claude and the Hanuman Satagiwa AR.
Yeah,
those are the only two.
That's like too much already.
Yeah, it's a kind of a weird status.
Yeah, but anyways, I didn't write any notes for that because I wrote notes for the first 2 ARs about how you could take advantage of Ardor, and guess what? After all these years, I still haven't used those ARs for Ardor advantage, so it's not happening, alright? You're not going to use these ARs for Ardor advantage. Just stop. Alright,
Okay.
There's the Eisenkalki one, yeah.
Oh, there's that too. Oh wow. Was it like 1.2, or am I thinking?
Eisenkalki is 1.6.
Oh, so it's actually kind of high. Interesting.
0.2
Well,
times.
it's normal for 4 star.
It's because it's a 4-star, yeah.
Yeah.
Point is, we have plenty of those already, and they were never useful so far, so, yeah.
And I guess I'll read the comments then.
Yep, please do.
No fencer synergy cringe. Skipping leg day AR. I don't know about that, but okay. Blushing emoji. A taunt. Good on Ulan, I guess. Art is really targeting me specifically, though. That feel no one with taunt strengthening can equip it except for Summer Hombre, who already gives himself taunt face dart. Clown emoji. Be a Chad and do it for the plus 300 HP. Is video and audio bugging out for anyone else? Not for me, not for me.
Thank
That was really weird. It sometimes does it to me. It was skipping every second. There was a long pause for me. That was probably just because we went quiet after the Arachne edit. And that was not like a thing. This AR is really good for child abuse. Ara and friends.
What? I don't understand.
Hitting code.
It's what?
Is Echo like...
Oh, we're getting Echo? Yeah, I guess.
I think Echo's just small because she's a sprite or a fairy or whatever, or a nymph, isn't she?
She still acts like a child, though.
She should be an nymph for thrusting over
Sounds-
what's his face.
Narcissus.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit for me. Oguchi-san, heart eye emoji, 5 times. Joke's going to be on Ara when Ardor gets a buff and becomes the new go-to strategy in meta.
It already is for our team, but not for giving it to the enemy.
Everyone
Jesus
uses
Christ.
Ardor. It's on everyone's team.
Yeah, it's kind
I
of
was
giving
thinking
them
if there's Ardor strengthening.
Argus
but
thing. No, there
I think
isn't.
I think it was actually in that challenge quest for Virtual Summer Memory, but on the enemy side. Okay. Ardor should die, I think. Removed from the game. Harvey when Ardor. Triple heart. He loves Ardor. Echo a small little bean.
Yeah,
Okay,
she
that's
is.
pretty much it.
She's fun for
And if
lanes.
they remove Arda, Tenderless will get nerfed. Are you sure you want
Yeah,
that?
and
Marvel?
Halloween up will get nerfed too.
I mean, my Kotar leaked are fine, so I'm good. If that's it, then I'll just go ahead and move on to the next topic. We are now going to move into the unit skill evolutions. The first one will be covered by someone. Go ahead, it's Arachne.
It's not me.
It's me. Right. So, well, there's a lot more to talk about here than the ARs, at least. So, Arachne, she got a pretty good Evo, actually. Far better than one would expect for a free unit, looking at Astarte. So, they increased the functionality of her CP to allies when attacking, and increased it from 6 CP to a massive 20 CP to self and allies. It used to be only to allies, so now she gives herself CP as well after attacking. So, quite frankly, that is a ludicrous amount of CP. You don't really get that kind of CP gen on a snipe unit. You get things like Koku, who, what does he give, like 26 CP or something to the Roan front?
And that's like after missing.
Yeah, that's after missing, so you can only ever do it once or twice with combo. But Arachne can hit, well, she can technically hit 5 enemies, but realistically you're not going to do that because you would have to get pushed all the way to the back in a large map. So realistically, you're going to hit 2, maybe 3 units. Well, let's say on average you hit 2 units, so you'll be giving 40 to 60 CP, which, quite frankly, is ridiculous to herself and allies. You could also pair it with someone who could give her combo so she attacks twice, and then she would be giving a double of whatever CP, so she could, quite easily reach 100 CP per turn. This does have the caveat that because she's giving herself CP, she's not going to be able to do this every turn, because if she CS's, then she can't grant the CP, unless she has like combo or something. Or you CS lock her, which that is technically an option. Now, for Arachne herself, her CS is actually pretty good. Since she's a free unit, you can easily max out her SA, so it's 100. Please do that. You literally have no reason not to max her out. Like, it's cheap to do so, and she's free. So, because you can max out the SA, it'll deal a lot of damage, and it'll provide a level 100 defense up to allies and self, which is pretty nice. Now, if we assume Arachne has concentration, then her CS will deal about 16.8k, including Infernal's normal multiplier. So that's pretty decent for a snipe unit who is kind of more support based, and that's only with concentration, so that could easily be amped if you want. So one silly synergy I thought of this was with Summer Oz. If you make Summer Oz turn Arachne into all range CS, then she's easily going to be giving 100 CP each turn if there are at least 5 enemies on the map. Now, this actually benefits Summer Oz if, say, Arachne is after him, because Summer Oz will CS, and then Arachne will immediately fill him up back to his 100% proc rate range, which is 70 CP. So there's that. And then you can equip Summer Oz with the CS locking AR so that she never CS's. And then you could put someone adjacent to Arachne who you want to CS every turn, and if Arachne goes after them, then yes, you could CS every turn, except turn 1. So that's a silly meme that I thought of. Obviously, there are impracticalities about it, because it means Summer Oz cannot buff whoever is receiving CP from Arachne because of positioning. But I think it's an interesting thing to think about. But yes, Arachne's CP battery capabilities are pretty ridiculous now. You can pretty much pair her with anyone who wants to CS often and just put them next to Arachne. And
yeah, considering that Kaku on release was considered quite amazing with his CP of like 24, but only once per turn. Arachne being able to do it multiple times on a single turn, that's pretty hot.
Yeah, now I would say there can be some slight advantages with using Arachne for something like this, mainly because Arachne has a 100% pull, and you don't necessarily always want to pull. But, I mean, you're fear dazzling and skill locking enemies anyway, so it might not be that bad. Oh yes, also it's a pretty massive 80% base rate, and considering she's hitting a lot of tiles and she also has turnstile concentration, it's pretty reliable, I'd say. Anyway, the other part of her Evo is a new functionality. It gives her 2 unique buffs, one to self and allies and one to just to allies. The first one is a defense up regen, which is when Arachne moves, she grants that buff to self and allies once you're around self, which is 400 HP regen while you have defense up. So we've discussed before how healing is never really that effective unless you pair it with defensive buffs, and this is basically just that.
I think it was Irby who was being sarcastic. No, someone else in the wiki cord was being sarcastic about the healing effect. It was Ert. I was like, you do know that Unction was considered like a really good defense buff, and it also kind of healed for some amounts.
Yes, well, it's a decent heal, I'd say. It synergizes fairly well with Arachne since she can give self and adjacent allies defense up with her CS, which is obviously what she's probably going to get off fairly quickly. She also starts with 10 CP natively, so she only has to hit 4 units, and then she'll CS. And also both defense up and defense up regen last 4 turns, I believe. So if you move Arachne when she has her CS, or when she fires off her CS, then it'll last the same amount of time, which is nice for syncing up buffs. So I'd say that effect is pretty good. Like Ara said, Unction is a pretty nice buff to have. That is, I mean, I don't really see,
and I think it's maybe 600 HP or something. I forgot. Actually,
I don't really see people talking about it, but that's just because it's rare, I think.
Yeah, it's like no one gives it on attack, so you have to move for it, except for Kurugani after Zeebo, but no one really uses regular Kurugani.
True. So Arachne's other unique buff is when she moves, she grants a skill to allies adjacent, not herself, unfortunately. After receiving a buff, heal herself for 150 to 300 HP at a 100% rate. So it's basically that AR, also the Suzuka Arachne AR.
Yeah, it's like that.
But with an actual good rate, which is to say 100%. So, considering how many buffs there are in this game and how buff-centric the meta is generally, 300 HP each buff can add up really quickly. Arachne herself gives a decent amount of buffs. She gives glint and defense up, but unfortunately, I do not believe she can actually make use of the after buff effect with those 2 unique buffs, because it'll give the defense up regen buff first, and then it will give the skill afterwards. And I think if it triggers in order, then it won't heal her. Yeah. So that's a shame. But Arachne already gives a few buffs, but there's plenty of ways to just give a million buffs to a unit. Now, I'd say one of the disadvantages of these 2 buffs is that you have to move Arachne, and she never had to be moved before. So it doesn't necessarily synergize with the rest of her kit. Well, defense up does, or defense up regen does, but yeah, you generally don't want to be moving her. But I mean, I guess this gives a reason to do so. So it's a new functionality that you actually do have some incentive to. Alright, something I didn't mention about the on buff heal thing is that you could use it to try and revive people who die, but I found that this is actually kind of difficult to do.
It does not revive people.
Oh, it doesn't? Did you test it?
Yeah, I did. I actually wrote notes. It's gonna revive people, and I tested. I was like, oh, it doesn't revive people. It works like
trying to test it.
It works like the Tangaroa Dagon AR, if you remember that.
No.
But the best unit to be testing it with is Ifrit on Frozen Seal's Ifrit, because he gives guaranteed protection after he's hit to himself and allies, and he's just straight up dies anyways, because like he gets the heal, but the damage actually is applied after the heal effect, even if it's like an after hitting buff.
Well, I wish I remembered Ifrit, because I was trying to test this out with other units who give buff when hit, and I got so frustrated because it was very difficult to line it up, because it's kind of hard to get units intentionally killed when they're like level 100, unless it's, or max level, unless it's some really hard CQ. But I didn't realize that it doesn't revive, so no, you can't use this for revive memes. But I would, even if it did revive units, I would say it's kind of hard to take advantage of anyway, because most buffers in the game grant buffs to backline allies. So say someone in front gets hit and gives a buff to someone behind, that'll heal them, but then the backline person will get hit, and then it will be pointless because they if they die, then they already got a buff. So that's not really that useful. And I was having a hard time thinking of units who actually give self buffs on taking damage
There's
anyway.
a few. Pretty much all of the what's called Storm Dancers and a few others, but even
Wow,
for the other
terrible
cases,
rate.
most of them are just much longer than one turn, so you can't really exploit it for revival. But a revival doesn't work anyway, so who cares?
Yeah, it doesn't work. So that sucks. So
With that said, I'd still say it'd be a useful effect for high evasion uptime units, because evasion is only one turn each, so units like Tindalos and Shenong could get a lot of healing out of that, while also just mitigating any damage from the triggering hit.
yeah, Tindalos would like it since he's taking 600 flat damage whenever he gets hit. So you can mitigate half of that. Mitigate half of one hit. You might need more buffs than just that to sustain him, but it can work. But so I'd say this Evo, especially for a free unit, is quite good. It both adds a new functionality, but also enhances her original functionality in that she's way better at being a CP battery, but now she can also CP battery herself, and also add these new buffs if you want them. So I'm not that big on the new buffs. I'm more dazzled by the ridiculous amount of CP she can gen. But at least it's not the Astarte Evo, which was terrible and did neither of the things I said.
I mean, Astarte already got a better Evo, which is Summer Shenong's existence, so...
I guess that's true. But yeah, good Evo.
Quite like this Evo, but it was mostly because I expected her rates on the general kit to get better, which they actually didn't. The fear and skill lock and even the dazzle, I'm still very reliable, and the concentration is still 50%.
I kind of wish they made it so that the glint applied to herself.
That would help, but it'd still be kind of low. But at least the dazzle would be on skill seed bait range.
I mean, not necessarily.
Concentration hit.
If concentration goes off, but yeah, her rates are still. This has been like an eternal problem with Arachne, that even when she came out, her rates, like her kit was good on paper, but the problem is that her rates were all pretty mediocre. Ironically, except for the CP gen.
For its time, I think we were like, oh, they're pretty good, because like everyone else just had shit rate for its skill lock and stuff like that.
I don't know. Even the skill lock, we had Benton, which was higher already,
and also Binder's a attack debuff. So
yeah. So Fear was also, we also had Shiro, so and a magic range.
I guess it's her
And
big hype
also
thing where she
Curse.
could do all at once, since most of them are just the one thing and nothing else.
she was a free snipe unit when snipe was kind of new and hot, I think.
Yeah, it was also the first 4-star Infernal and first 4-star Infernal unit. If I forget Durga's existence.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. But yeah, it would have been nice to get better rates on her stuff, or the
Also-
herself better one.
I'm also not very keen on the new buff she got, because it forces this new utility. It forces her into a moving unit if you want to use this new utility, which sucks in my opinion.
I do have
Even though you only need to move her like once every 3 or 4 turns, it still sucks that you kind of have to move her to get this functionality. But at least the CP is there.
I see. Well, you don't have to move her immediately, right? You could just wait until she gets her charge. So, I do feel like she is one of those rare units that are designed to be. You move them occasionally, but not super often. I think once upon a time you used to like those units, didn't you? I feel like someone did.
I may have said something of the sort, but this was a unit that was designed to not be moved, and having a moving functionality, I never liked that. Like, if the unit was designed to not be moved, not have any moving abilities, adding it on a skill evolution, I think, is pretty bad. That's just what
I would agree, but at least this Evo actually improves her original functionality, so...
She gives more CP a lot more, so at least there's that. But I hate the new buffs though.
I think they're fine.
I actually like this.
Go ahead.
I actually like this skill evolution a lot because it kind of gives her like the Aizen Snow functionality. If you like think about the moving stuff, it's actually better because of like how big the CP and heals potentially is. Like the defense up was already there. It was kind of like slow to ramp up, but now I think it's kind of like pretty good. Like it's not game breaking, I think, but it's pretty solid for welfare.
Yeah, I feel like Arachne will be a fairly like a much more common pick now for those welfare clears that we see every now and then. Zelgus.
Yeah, I'll probably use her with Gorozaemon or something for fat damage
And with
and defense snap.
her existence along with Yorm, now it's like you can just get charges for 3 stars super easily, or 3 stars and welfares. Well, if that's everything on this topic, actually, did you have anything else to say, Milk? You didn't say too much on Arachne.
Oh, that was my only comment, was that I was going to use her as like sort of like a welfare Snow Aizen, even though nobody uses Snow and Aizen anymore. Because,
I use them still.
Like if you think about this,
Not Aizen, but well, I use Champion Aizen.
you still use regular Snow 5?
Yeah, I do. It's just he's like still the quintessential way of providing both healing and buffs. Plus, I don't have Horkei Okami, so what can you do? Sorry, healing and defensive buffs, rather, is what I mean.
But yeah, I was kind of jealous of this after attacking 20 CP because, like, back in the old days, you had to like move people to get 20 CP, and nowadays you just
Give it to everyone else instead.
for free after attacking.
And not
then,
just to like
you have
them,
to
but also
move,
themselves.
Yeah, and you have to move like Snow 5 to get, I don't know, a plus 500 HP heal, right? And now Arachne has this like heal after buff, which is like, I don't know, 1800 on a good turn. So it's just like, okay.
Actually, yeah, in that context, I guess she would be even more defensive than Snow, at least when she has her defense up.
Yeah, but it's like fairly easy to get her defense up now to do the 20 CP. So you don't get it immediately unless you're doing some crazy shenanigans, maybe with like Yorm, I guess. But yeah, I was kind of like, I kind of like it just because like it just like really, it's just really like the Snow Aizen stuff all on a welfare skill evolution. So that's why I like this skill evolution actually.
Yeah, I'll be keeping my eye out on this skill evolution. I do think that 20 CP will be useful even for me, maybe one day. And the healing, of course, I'm a big fan of just hyper stacking defensive buffs as well with healing, and this does both as long as she gets her charge. So yeah, it might be fun to pair up with units who don't normally have defense up, which is a lot of tank units. Okay, well, if that's it for this unit, you are free to read out the comments, Zelgus.
Oh yeah, I just remembered. Since I already did the obligatory Summer Oz per stream mention, here's the other one. Irby was saying that Arachne's rates are terrible, so pair her with Smoky God. There you go. Okay, on to the comments.
I did it! Yes!
Not the Oz nerf. Oz nerf? What Oz nerf?
Yeah, I know.
By making Oz CS even more so that things go even
No, I think it was talking about removing Arden from the game.
Oh right, Arden. Oh no. Oh no, actually yeah, that would nerf both. Oh dear. Yeah, that would suck if Oz lost Arda, because some of his power comes from that. Summer Oz plus Arachne CP battery time. Sasuke. Yes. Prob like Arachne, Summer Oz, Toad, Halloween Toji, Yoritomo. What is Halloween Toji CS? Yeah, alright, hits the map. And does something. I forget. I mean, that could work. Halloween Toji does quite a lot of damage, as far as I recall, from Milk's Skill Soul farming. So yeah, something like that. It is an option nonetheless. Another looping team, but the problem this one is no defense piercing, but good raw damage. Yeah. If you're going to be doing a team with Summer Oz and Arachne, it's probably going to require all-out offense, unless you're doing something silly like having Seth or Bale spam evasion with their CS. So she's better than Daikoku 5 now. Yeah, kind of. Well,
I disagree entirely with this. Daikoku 5 can bestow 2 defense buffs, which makes you
and she can do it immediately, unlike Arachne. But nonetheless, Arachne will have burst periods where burst tankiness, where she generally would be more helpful than Daikoku.
Daikoku can also buff steal and oppress people every turn or every other turn without doing anything. So there's that as well.
Also without moving.
Yeah, Arachne has to hit things, which is not necessarily a good thing. And Daikoku does it without hitting anything. So I know I said, oh yeah, on Impulse, but no, Daikoku still has plenty of uses. Hidden, I got Daikoku 5 dupe this event instead of F-Con. What does this CS do? Not that you should be using it.
It gives... It affects Charm, Guts to the entire team, and heals, I guess.
Yeah, the Guts is pretty good, honestly.
I was actually going to say Daikoku 5 is like a mean answer for using the new 5-star AR, but yeah.
No, not the Daikoku damage dealer.
I actually thought you were saying the same thing, but no, I'm not gonna say it.
Oh nice, congrats. Very classy. Now both 4-star Arachne CP battery. I don't remember what her Summer River 1 does, except for the weird pull and the attack and defense up.
Yeah, I think she gives like CP when missing and hitting.
Isn't that just for herself?
I thought it was... Yeah, it's just herself. I don't know about...
It's like I use her a lot. I feel like I would remember if she was annoying my...
Actually, she gives... Actually, she gives a bunch of CP in her CS. But yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Hello, Ara. Sorry I'm late. It's Joe. Arachne is the best unit for this event. I don't care what y'all say. Loading.
There were a few drop frames during that time, but it seems it's fine, so you keep playing.
Enigma synergy. I guess. I have nothing to say about that. It's Enigma.
Enigma synergy is not real. I'm sorry.
Joe, Sussy, yes, Super Glint, yes, Smoky God. I'm back, hello lore. I'm just happy she got something that isn't definitive trash. I like Arachne and she's the welfare I've used the most out of others. Yeah, it's nice that she got a good evo. Halloween Toji is good, that's good to hear at least. Opium Daikoku not made irrelevant. I'm joking. I missed the AR one, I was wondering if the 5-star one with Arachne is good. That one is the Charm AR that is extremely niche. You'll only want it when the mapping involves a lot of Charm, or if you're bringing Charm-centric units who are rare anyway, so it's not that great just because of how narrow its use case is, but I mean, when it's relevant, it's nice, I guess.
Yeah, it's one of those feature cases where if anyone else has Charm that's a damage dealer, then that AR will also get better on principle. So, who knows. But not right now, though.
Still gonna get it anyways, but hey, just wondering. That sounds like hubris to me and asking to spend a lot of money. Okay, now time to move to the main event of this stream. Really?
Yes. The main event of this stream is Amatsumara's gonna...
I think it is the main event, but
Man, you guys are eager. Fine, we'll move on to the next one, even though Saga's
No, wait. There are 2 more comments.
Okay, fine.
Zero colon. My bad for being gone for like 14 minutes ago. No, it's fine.
So your colon is a face, you know, but okay.
I know. I mean, people still say colon D. Or D colon.
I have never heard that before, but okay.
Watch more Twitch streams. Or don't. They'll probably be better for you.
Alright. Next up, we have Amatsumara, who received an Evo. This will be handled by Irby.
Wow, this is an amazing Evo.
Amazing.
I'm joking. His Evo makes his phase start concentration more reliable. Still not 100%, but at least it's fixable with skill seeds this time. So that can be nice at applying his Brawn, which was mostly what it was used for. He also gained a higher advantage against weakness. It was before this evolution, it was only 1.5, and after this evolution is 2 times advantage against weakness, which significantly boosts the damage from his CS, which he's going to get on the first or second turns for sure, because he starts the battle with almost a full CP bar. The problem with this is that he doesn't have any actual way to regain his CS again, or even apply weakness outside of his CS, so yeah, that sucks. He also got 2 new things after moving. Before the skill evolution, Amatsumara did have an after moving effect, which was applying combo at 80%, which was definitely not worth doing whatsoever, because that was the only thing he did, and combo would only realistically increase the chance of applying Brawn to allies.
Oh, that was the idea, I'm pretty sure.
Yes. So now you have kind of, but not really, an extra incentive to move him, because he now bestows advantage against Mecha Man units and related skill units like Yoshito's full body cyborg thingy to allies that are directly adjacent to self. And this advantage is a 2 times advantage against Mecha Man, even though Amatsumara himself only has 1.5 times advantage. It's kind of weird that he gives 2 allies a bigger advantage than the one he has himself, but okay, at least it's 100%. And he also, on top of this, he also has a safety measure, because obviously you're not going to fight enemies with Mecha Man at all times. There's a lot of them, but they're not in every quest. There's actually only a few selection of units that do have Mecha Man. Even though there are a lot of mobs, there's still not a lot to exploit here. So to cover this, he now bestows Mecha Man, dummy status, Mecha Man to enemies in his magic range at 90%. This will boost his damage by 1.5 times, which is not a lot, and may also boost his allies' damage if they happen to hit the enemies in this very small range that Amatsumara is perfectly centered on to hit them with. So this is a pretty shitty skill evolution. It does not make Amatsumara a better unit in the slightest. I'd say even with this, you're never going to want to move him at all, because you're only going to use him for the Brawn anyways, to restart the allies. This is not a skill evolution. It makes his CS stronger, yes, but this is not a skill evolution. I'm sorry.
It's a
Those are all my thoughts.
Skill sideways movement, or even a debuff. I don't really know how to describe it. The tenacity is, I don't know why it's there. They could have, yeah. What's up?
I wanted to say something about that actually. So you're asking me to test test a different aspect of it, and I did actually do that last night, and I've come to the conclusion that that skill is a lie. I had Amatsumara hit enemies at least 50 times, and not once did tenacity trigger.
Yeah, I think it's just a dummy buff of Mecha Man. It doesn't actually bestow tenacity. I didn't mention this because
really?
it did not show that it bestows tenacity. It's just a dummy buff.
Yeah, unless like I was astronomically unlucky, like because I attacked a lot. It's really easy to rack up a lot of hits with Amatsumara because combo and magic range, so you could get like 10 hits off in one turn, and I didn't see a single tenacity.
There was nothing on the old wiki about this status last time I checked, so I just assumed it did not apply tenacity, and it was just a dummy status.
Which is funny because that is actually an advantage to it. Because if it actually applied Mecha Man, it would be even worse because you would be giving the enemy tenacity, which would kind of ruin the entire point of giving advantage.
Yeah, especially since you can't actually fully pierce tenacity.
Yeah, if that was entirely what I was testing, the skill rate or the skill level. If it's a max level tenacity, then a 2 times advantage will not fully pierce it. It will instead be reduced to 0.9 times damage. So that you would have actually been lowering your allies' attack.
That would be so bad.
Tenacity.
Okay, so at least it's good to hear that you tested it. I wish I knew this before this. I would have updated the slide then. But yeah, you can't really know until you test it out yourself. You heard it here. So apparently Mecha Man doesn't actually work, but he rather bestows a dead Mecha Man skill where he just gets advantage and gives it advantage to his allies to something that does not actually work like Mecha Man, but that does nothing.
Oh, right. Yeah, the Evo sucks. There you go.
Okay. Any other thoughts, Milk, since you haven't said anything yet, I think?
So I think some people might know that I didn't want to talk about Fashionista Amatsumara. And this is pretty much the reason why, because I really don't care about the skill evolution at all. Like, you do 2 times more damage, and it's only to allies. Like, I guess, like, it synergizes with the Brawn, but it's like, what's the point?
It doesn't even synergize that well because he only actually bestows the dummy status in his magic range, so the allies will need to hit his magic range, and unless they're all range, they're not gonna hit all the allies, all the enemies that were afflicted by this. So
yeah, it would be better if it was like a 3x3 range, because then say like a shot unit could actually get full use out of it, but as it stands, you're going to be hitting at most 2 units unless you're all ranged. So if you're like a magic range adjacent to Amatsumara, you'll hit the left or rightmost and center. So, wow, they're very useful. I mean, I guess you could also be behind someone and be a slash or thrust range and get full advantage of that, but it's just an unwieldy range.
Well, I guess I can try to beat the comments if it is going to be mentioned in the comments. It probably will. That you could maybe use it to buff Enigma's damage.
Because
stop. No,
stop.
We're not going to
Stop.
talk about it. Not Enigma. Enigma is not real, please.
Oh my god. Enigma will never die, jeez. It's just people coping with them trying to make use of the... It's like at that point you're not even using the fucking thing that made him like interesting, which was, you know, him taking everyone else's buffs. It's like you're just trying to make it work as a co-PM. It's like,
He can take combo from Amatsumara. He can take combo from Amatsumara.
It's not a damage buff, okay? It's not.
I mean, technically it's the one.
It is a damage buff.
It's the 1.2 times buff.
Just stop.
Yeah.
I don't consider that a damage buff, just like I don't consider those ARs that give 1.2 times advantage by itself advantage. Just stop. I do have one remark about this, which is other units that have advantage against Mecha Man natively don't actually have advantage against whatever Amatsumara is giving. At least I checked Kurigami's page, it didn't seem to be the case. So, I'm not
Yeah,
sure
it's
All you're
innocent.
saying is he's even worse than it appears.
yeah, I think so. Well, it keeps on getting worse the more I think about it. Like, I was moving him, I was like, okay, Amatsumara, it's time for you to do damage, and then he did the exact same. And then I realized after, yeah, he doesn't increase his own advantage, so...
I had that exact problem.
Yeah.
I was testing and I was like,
His advantage is so long.
why does it seem like he's doing half the damage he should?
Yeah.
And then I halved what number was in my calculator, and I was like, oh wait, he doesn't apply it to himself, so he's actually half of what is projected.
It's not a good day to be an Amatsumara stand. Okay, well, you are free to read the comments or say any remaining thoughts, Kirby. That's it.
Okay, where were we again?
Good question.
Wow, we got a lot of comments here, I think.
I didn't realize people were searching for
okay.
Amatsumara stands this much. No one mentioned them until now. Everyone just jumped out. It's like Amatsumara this and Amatsumara that. Grandpa, by the way.
Okay, I think I found it. It's Grandpappy, yes. Oh, I did it wrong. Amatsumara-san. Not bad. My second account has everyone but FZav from the banner. Immaculate. So I guess I can see what he does. Good synergy with Turing, who can also do 2.5 damage to Mecha Man enemies and applies weakness and break real logic bomb. No, it's not real. This isn't a skill evolution. Don't. Remember to use all your stones and pull for Amatsumara, people. Don't. Unless you really like him. He is pretty hot, so yes, you should. I think it's because he's gonna lose out on some damage because of combo. I don't see it. I don't see what that means, but he does not lose any damage.
I do think people thinking a combo is... One thing about having combo as a damage buff per se is... I mean, they might inflict a damage debuff on you on the first hit, which is why I especially don't consider combo a damage buff, so...
He's meant to get back to his CS with combo, because he gets a good amount of CP back that way, but it's a lot slower than just getting a lot of CP from the kill units like today. Yes, see, it's... Even though he has combo, he still doesn't generate enough CP. He doesn't have any skill that even gives him, like, what, even 6 CP maybe, or 3 CP per enemy hit. He doesn't have anything like that. Grandpa. I completely forgot I have this unit. For good reasons. Anyways, I'm hella disappointed with this skill evolution. At least he's hot, true. It's just meh. I'm gonna keep saving for Summer 2. Yeah, he can rot in the bench looking sexy, I guess. He can support in the back line looking hunky. He can be there for moral support sitting in the back, or he can be a meat shield in the front or something, I don't know. He can be in slot 5 or 6, giving us that juicy bonus. So he can give a fake Mecha Man and tenacity to enemies, so allies can take advantage of it.
You do know that you can just bring Beastar and Amatsumara and get the same bonus for this event, right?
Yes. Lol, sure. Anyway, fun fact. If you run Festival Tez behind him, Tez can apply weakness at magic range and space in front, so Amatsumara can perfectly take advantage of you if you're feeling spicy. No, it's not worth feeling spicy for, I'm sorry. Justice for Enigma. Justice for Enigma. Enigma is just an enigma. Delete Enigma from the game. Yes, please. Say it with me. Rework, need new kit. Enigma will never die. He has too many defense buffs. Clown emoji. That he does, but he needs to prop them. Maybe he will get an Evo. That will help. I don't know. Hi guys, catching up to the stream. High praise. All this Amatsumara slander. He's the best unit on this banner. Honestly, I would say that even Fashionista Suzuka is better at this point. And South.
I don't know that South, but I can agree with Suzuka. He's pretty alright.
I didn't know his eye is red. He has an artificial eye. I didn't pay attention from his eye. SA level 100. Amatsumara. He's also one of the extremely rare units in this game with chest hair too.
There's like a shit ton
Kinda,
of phrase in this game,
but not
so
really.
I guess we're not going to talk about them as having chest hair.
Those don't count. It's not chest hair. If it's
Wow, rude. Okay, well,
It's true though.
no, they have hair everywhere, including the chest. Anyways, we're moving on to the final topic of this discussion. Thanks for covering that, Irby, but I will now be passing it on to our local Wakan stand, Milk. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yep.
So Wakan got a skibo. I'm gonna look up the details right now, even though I know them. Basically, what it does is really just makes his skills more consistent at a glance. It buffs his protection giving to 90%. I think it used to be 80%, and his crit from 30% to 60%. So that's a nice plus 30% bonus. So I was pretty happy with those things. It also gives him a turn start ability to apply weakness to enemies in thrust range at a pretty high rate of 90%. So this is kind of a weird addition because if you use Wakan, a lot of the time you use the duo AR with him, or at least that's my impression when you like look in the support slot, that a lot of people have the duo AR on him. So this is kind of like a sort of side grade in the sense that you don't have to use the duo AR on him anymore. And you can just tap into this weakness automatically. So you can just equip, I don't know, something like the Bath Team Ikutoshi AR for evasion piercing, or the Arslan of Arga AR. I think that's thrust as well. So yeah, you don't have to use the duo AR if you have the skill evolution. So those are all fine. The next effects though are kind of suspect in my opinion. Basically at a 9% rate, at the end of the move phase, so basically if you decide to move him or not move him, he's going to give arousal to himself and allies 2 squares to the left and right horizontally, and if his CP is 100, he's going to automatically give 1000 HP to allies in a 2 square radius around himself, but not to himself. So what I dislike about these effects is that arousal is actually kind of a nerf to Fashionista Wakan, because most people do not like his CS at all. His CS is this blow range CS that gives 30 CP to himself and allies, and skills is 60 if you have SA 100. But since it's blow range, and all of Wakan's effects are like, well, his main important effects, the crit one and protection, are when attacking. You do not really want this CS to happen. So the fact that he gets arousal automatically and it's unpreventable basically at a very guaranteed rate is actually kind of a nerf to him, because most people do not want this CS. So if you do decide to evolve his skill, you have to kind of be aware of this. So now the main thing that people are using Wakan now for is with Summer Oz for clearing quests fast. If you look at like Borrow Sen's video, that's what he does for these farm quests. So yeah, this arousal actually comes into play here, in the sense of what I mean is that Wakan and Summer Oz kind of overlap already with this weakness. So that's why this weakness is kind of sort of weird, because if you're using Summer Oz, you're generally hitting this weakness already, so this weakness is kind of pointless. And here, this arousal is actually kind of making it harder for you to use Summer Oz with him, because Summer Oz can already charge Wakan a bit through his CS if you use Summer Oz before Wakan. So, yeah, this Skeevo is kind of good and bad. Like, it's definitely more consistent, and in general use, he'll do more damage for no reason. So in that way, it's good, but in the other way, he's just kind of harder to play with due to this arousal, and it actually matters the longer it goes on. To be honest, I think the benefits outweigh the cons. You don't really use Fashionista Wakan for fights that last too long, but yeah, it's not an amazing effect that I would have added to Skill Evolution.
I mean, it's just 10 CP anyway.
It stacks. It matters. Yeah, it matters the longer the fight goes on.
I do think that the weakness is very funny, even if we discount the AR and Summer Oz, because if you don't clear the entire board on the first turn, that weakness is going to fail because you're going to want to move Wakan to a different column, probably, so that he can hit enemies, and it's going to be empty. His thrust range is going to be empty after the first turn, so he's not going to apply that weakness for the second.
I mean, that's the case for most units who have effects like this. The only real exception is Yamasa Chihiko. He's the first unit who could apply debuff like that within the range no matter where he goes. But otherwise, everyone is always this weird turn start thing, like a fucking Piscali Poka from the festival event.
Yeah, maybe that's what they're thinking with that taunt AR. I don't know.
Yeah.
Taunt them so they get into the weakness range, yes.
Yeah. I was gonna say that this weakness actually can boost his CS damage, but I don't really like this gameplay revolving his CS. I mean, I know that you can use it to like loop with Licho 4, but honestly, it's kind of hard to set up. So yeah.
But once you got it set up, it goes automatically for the rest.
Getting there is just kind of getting there is kind of tricky, to be honest. So yeah. Maybe it's easier. Maybe it's easier nowadays because we have like CB batteries like Yorm. So I don't know.
We'll just have to see. I honestly did not consider before going to the stream the I guess the bad sides of this Evo until you brought it up, so it's nice clarification. I do think it does actually work well with the Licho strategy, as you mentioned. So for those that are not in the know of what the Licho F-Wakan strategy is, actually, do you want to explain it, or is it what do you like me to?
I'll just explain it.
Okay, good.
So, as everybody knows, because everybody seems to like Licho nowadays, Licho 4 gives a CS weapon change all after his CP is sufficiently high. I think it's like 89, 79. It's actually kind of lower because Licho has like Pelt Coiler, or what is it called, like in Beast clothing or now they call it now. So basically if like Licho is at like 70 CP, maybe like 66, if you move Licho 4, he'll give CS weapon change all to his allies adjacent, and what that means is that Wakan, who usually has a blow range CS, now has an all range CS, and for each hit of the all range CS, he's going to give plus 30 to 60 CP to allies, and this is to the entire board, so it's actually rather flexible. So what that means is that Licho 4 and Wakan create this CS loop where Wakan will just keep charging everybody, and he'll charge Licho 4 to get the CS weapon change all, and it'll just keep going and going. So if you pair this with somebody with like a really good CS effect, I would say somebody like, I guess Dagon would kind of be good, just because Dagon has like evasion to everybody one square away. Then you can tap into some potentially good effects.
Yeah, the video I saw
do you have
used that Takamaru, but he essentially did the same thing, evasion to like one square around or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you could use Takamaru. I think I kind of feel like there's always like somebody who has this really good effect for the CS that would be like really nice and memey, but I don't know.
I reviewed all the
Evasion.
charges recently, and like Wakan really is one of the best units who would benefit from Licho's weapon change on charge.
Yeah, I think Festival for Ufumi had like a similar effect when we were discussing it before, but Wakan, with it being on the entire board, just makes it really flexible.
Were you saying something, RB?
What?
I thought you like.
No, I just breathe it in.
Okay. Let's see. What are my thoughts on this? Oh yeah, I was just bringing that up because I want to say it does improve the tankiness of that setup. Because, like for example, what if you don't want to like do evasion instead? And instead go a bit more offensive. Then what's it called? You got the pretty meaty heal with 1k instead. Of course, no defense buff without protection since Wakan will be charging. But it's something, and as a result, you might be able to invest on a more offensive constant charger as well. So I think there is nice energy there that might even be like self-aware of that strategy existing. What with Arousal also being there to, I guess, bring Licho back up to his range as well. And
Yeah.
yeah, and to heal, what's it called, even if there's only a few units on board, like let's say only 3, like maybe the whole only gives 90 CP at most, Arousal will make up the difference with that extra 10, so that's nice. And I guess the only other thoughts I have is you could bring rate boosters for Wakan to make up the difference. I mentioned this before the stream, but just to reiterate, it is now a feasible thing to, well, maybe not feasible, but it's now possible to get a guaranteed rate for his crit without him relying on Smoky God. So you could do something like Skill Seed him, which if you have Wakan, there's like maybe a 50-50 chance you already have. And then you may also equip on him the Shuten Oniwaka AR, which gives concentration at a guaranteed rate. And then you may also then bring like Valentine Arc with the Beast Tamer AR, which gives both prayer and concentration. And then there you go, you'll have an additional 40% for a guaranteed crit. So it is now in the feasible realms of grinding in that sense, although, as Milk has pointed out, there's some downsides to it that prevent him from being perfect for grinding as well, due to his charge building up a bit faster.
Yeah. So, as I said before, overall, I think it's kind of a mixed one, but overall, I think the benefits outweigh the cons. I mean, I did the skill evolution anyways. Like I say it's kind of finicky with Summer Oz, but honestly, you can farm the Chapter 13 Blossom Quest with Wakan and Summer Oz pretty decently now due to the buffed crit percentage.
Is Wakan and Oz like a discount Shiva?
Oh, I think it's actually faster because previously my strat also used Cthulhu 5-star, and he's kind of annoying to do all his like skill procs. So Wakan is actually kind of better. I don't know.
Sorry, Irby. It seems that Shiva has been power creeped already.
No, I wouldn't say Shiva has been power creeped. It's just that.
I wouldn't believe it anyways from what I've seen so far.
Yeah, it's just that I do not have the Arsenal of Arca AR. So if I had that, then I would not be using Wakan, I think. Because it would just be a lot easier to use Summer Shiva.
I see. Well, thank you for shutting down my joke completely and utterly, but okay.
Well, you can't really compete with extended horizontal movement, to be honest.
I mean, they gave Wakan an Evo after Shiva. I feel, just like the title says, maybe they'll give another a set of Evos for 5 stars, I'll just make them also like super strong as well. We'll see. Also, I feel like I heard you unmute for a second, Zodos. Did you have something to say?
Not really. You just pretty much said everything. Like, I mean, my care for this Evo extends as far as better crit rate, honestly. That's pretty much the only part I care about, because that was all I ever used Wakan for. If I not that I use him these days, because there are other choices, but at least they made his crit pretty good.
Indeed, indeed. Well, if that's it, then you are free to read out the comments for Wakan Tanka's Evo. Milk?
Okay. Moo. Closing poll after Wakan's part. Nice. LW milks Wakan again. Milk. My baby. They always do. My fully skill seed Wakan eating good. Rip my gold from those skill seeds. I mean, he already gave arousal. He. I forget he can happy. I have full seeded of all. Him. Oh, forgot he's a 5-star. Use tab star to change it to shot easy. You can now meme with Licho's skill evo easier. But all range does the lowest damage, yeah? Yeah, the multiplier is the lowest for all range. I don't really know what Wakan's like CS all range damage is, but I think it's pretty high just due to
the massive attack stat.
Pretty high. Yeah. And, like mine hits like 10k due to with AR, so yeah. Okay. But now you can CS loop with the both of them. Well, you could CS loop before. It's just that now you can also have this turn start weakness, and the arousal helps, and he also has the healing if you're still getting hit through these CSs somehow. Okay. Well, keeping Summer Oz as a mover. Okay. I use Summer Oz with anyone who applies debuffs and Otohime for that sweet crit. I don't have Wakan, so that's a bummer. Yeah, Otohime is kind of funny because Otohime was like supposed to be penalized by getting Weapon Change None. You could just change it back to Weapon Change All with Summer Oz.
Man, Summer Oz really breaks functionalities of how units are supposed to work.
I don't really need him though. I have Ben 10 Egg. That is an egg, right? I used one of the Christmas AR that gives Berserk Plus. I think it was Rage Plus, wasn't it? Yeah. They should have gave him Crit Plus Plus. And that's just kind of like nourishment, to be honest. But yeah. Yeah, this is exactly what I thought of when I saw Skibo. I did the quest anyway for the stone, but it hasn't really changed how I play Wakan with Summer Oz. Why not use the combo AR for Wakan instead? Which combo AR? I think there's 2 he can apply. He can equip. Me when my Licho is level 62 with skill level 86. Oof. Skill level 86 is a pretty bad number to be at. Yes, Licho my beloved. Heart eye emoji. Wi-Fi buffered me a minute. I'm glad he got the buff because the juicy 80% crit after glint is so good. Yeah, I also get 80%, so that's pretty nice. Xmas Takimaru's skill evo in December, I promise. Smiley
He
face.
doesn't need it.
Oh my-
He's so good.
I actually did unironically use what's called Takimaru a bit, just for like a blows skill training grinding. But other than that, yeah, I don't really see what you're talking about, Irby.
I don't know. I feel like he has more use than I initially thought at the time.
Yeah, these high difficulty quests where they aren't immune to bind and skill lock anymore. He's really shining, I think.
Or this quests that have nothing at all.
Ow.
Actually, I think it was kind of. I kind of had this conspiracy that they removed the immunities to like bind and stuff, so that Summer Heracles could do more damage. But yeah. Please Festo Evo. What is typically run as support for Wakan plus Summer Odd strats? By the way, I've been using a friend Yoritomo to further his damage, but are there any other options to boost his damage? Yeah, you could use Yoritomo, you could use Fushi 5, you could use basically
The standards.
many people
Okay.
that aren't just harder. I've been using Leaked actually, because I don't have somebody who could buff from the other side of the map that well, and Leaked 5 buffs like attack up all the way from the other side. So that is an option if you somehow randomly have Leaked 5. Why would Festcho even need a Skivo? Why did Wakan need a Skivo?
Very true.
It works well, but I was just curious.
Okay.
Fushi.
I'll say
Also
one thing before you
just-
finish. Life Wonders, if you're listening to this, please keep on giving us busted evos. I don't actually mean like I'm upset with these buffs or anything. I'm just saying like they stick out very strongly compared to something like Fashionista, Amatsumara. Like, you know, at least give some fair treatment for the others too. But I still like these very strong buffs as well. Alright, you can continue, sorry.
Also, just anyone with buffs that don't overlap. Valentine Isana just as a magic user, Kulebe AR, and in dinner maps can buff the attack. Wakan needed it because he's a good boy. What is the Valentine Isana thing?
He has like an attack buff that it can be removed depending on his CP level to 1 square around. And if he moves with 50 CP or greater, he gives a crit plus or something. Or is it normal crit plus? I can't remember what crit level is, but it's some kind of crit.
I think it was crit plus.
Probably.
Because,
yeah. Crit
I don't
plus
think
is
it-
going like
Only
that.
think
crit plus. Crit plus plus is like a T.
Oh,
Yeah. I don't think it's synergized with Temujin, that's why. So yeah. Wakan needed because he's a good boy. He's better off without it, SMH. I don't know. It's just kind of a weird Skivo to me. There's like parts that I like and parts that I don't like. But the parts that I like outweigh the parts that I don't like.
I do wish it was like we had the option to turn off evos as well as set our own levels and amount of seeding that we already gave, because otherwise we're left with situations like with Wakan here, or for example, I refuse to HP seed my Kengo because I'll just make him worse to reach his limit at max damage faster. So yeah, it would be nice if Life Fighters could implement that, but I sincerely doubt that they will.
Think about the stone you get from the Evo, though.
Very true. Unfortunately, that means you have to do Wakan's Evo. Forget about strategy, get the stone. Okay, well, I think that is it, so I will just go ahead and close the poll now. The poll has ended. And we will now move into the discussion phase of the overall thingy-mabob. I don't know what I'm going with there. So what did you guys, do you guys think of this reprint? Not the story, because I haven't read it yet, but I'm guessing neither of you guys. What do you think of the Evos, the ARs? What do you think of the lateness of this story? And what do you think of the art? And just your general mood about Tokyo After School Summoners right now, overall.
Okay.
I think they should really do something about, like, giving the minimum amount of attention they can give to events and event quests, because they've been pretty shit lately. Even to the point of forgetting to add the actual event music to the high difficulty quests that had it before.
Well, it
And that's
wasn't even
just
the gimmicks, I
embarrassing.
think, right? Like, wasn't there like some resistance gimmick in the level 70 CQ?
Yeah, there should have
Yeah,
been,
the-
but it was just gone when it was reprinted. Also, they replaced the music with like generic ass fast shooter, which is very bizarre.
Yeah, that was what I was complaining about. They even didn't bother to bring back the old music for some reason. What happened there? I have
think they-
no fucking clue.
Yeah, I think they said it was a bug, but I don't know. I didn't really read too hard.
Because it's a
Yeah.
reprint quest, who cares? It's like, you're gonna get it anyways, it's still gonna be easy, but still, you're right, it's just disrespectful to an event that is long overdue.
Well, for this rerun, I guess it's like okay that it's like 2.5 weeks only. It's probably just gonna be 3 because of like random bullshit will happen and they just delay for whatever reason. I don't know. I'm just kind of okay. I don't really like how event shops are just kind of like shitty for reprints. Summer Pool was just kind of like underwhelming for me. Because it's kind of a lighthearted event for the most part. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like they're going to just throw some random bullshit later, like a date quest event.
Oh, I think they're gonna do that before Halloween. Maybe.
Yeah. So I'm just kind of like anticipating something that I dread.
Yeah, apparently seems some of us among us have some hints about what's going to be released in the next banners, but I wasn't paying attention, so I can't recount it to you. But you don't need to repeat it here. If you know, you know. Yeah, my overall thoughts for I guess this thing is, I don't know. It's just it's so bizarre seeing Fashionista again. I was kind of convinced that they would eventually just retire before even reprinting it, because this is like the oldest quest that hasn't been printed like ever, right? We've never had a period between original release and translations this long before. And then they also did something with Mystic Christmas where they released their like special quest already in the Hall of Memories. So I figured Fashionista was dead in the water as a result, but I guess it's nice to finally see what Suzuka is saying when she yelps in the shop. And
honestly, I think the reason why this was delayed was probably because of voice acting, actually. And my very own headcanon says that the Wakan Zabaniyya AR was meant to be a 5-star AR, but we couldn't get the voice actor, and that's why it was so delayed. And eventually they said, screw it, we're just going to release it without voice, and it's a 3-star now.
I suppose that's true. Usually we receive at least 2 5-stars for these kind of things, or reprints with ARs, but this AR banner felt somewhat small for some reason. Just
yeah, this AR banner is just kind of like really passable. Like, you have charm resistance. I guess it's Yama variant power creep, but I don't know.
I don't even know if I'd call it passable. It's pretty lame.
No, I mean, I meant passable as in like, yeah, like skippable.
Skippable.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah, it is. It is a pass.
Yeah. So yeah, I should have said skippable, but yeah, it's very weird because I feel like they did work with Wakan and Zab's voice actors like pretty recently. Like Zab voiced Vulpicula in Live a Hero, and Wakan had like the Mugen stuff. So I'm kind of wondering what was happening there. But I do believe that it was supposed to be a 5-star AR considering the art.
You mean the massiveness of their assets? I still can't get over the art. The art for sure in these ARs are pretty good. They're pretty memeable. Yeah, I like them. But yeah. I also think it's nice to hear the music again, I guess. And one last remark is, I really hate the level 80 drop quests. Like, what is up with all of the enemies suddenly having charm and skill lock? Like, those are usually like forbidden status effects in drop quests. I'm like so peeved off by them. But yeah.
This was before they normalized events, so it makes sense. This is like the last event before they kind of turn standardized events with Xiangxi Night, at least in my opinion, and added the new level cap. So that makes sense to me, that the events were kind of usually a mess. We did have a lot of weird events with weird statuses, like Onsen having slimes applying countdown. So yeah, that was a thing, if you remember.
Yeah, I remember. Maybe they were just messed up with their old data or something. Because they have changed their old data in the past, and sometimes it screwed things up. Who knows though? This event will be done within the month, so any grievances you have with it, it'll be over soon. Just let it happen. Okay, if that's it, then I'm just gonna go ahead and read out the comments, starting with Hidden, because he was so nice to donate $19.99.
I didn't even say anything about the event, actually. It's okay.
Go ahead. Sorry.
It's okay, I guess. Like, I'm glad it only lasts 18 days, rather than the standard, like, 21, 3 weeks, or even 30 days for some new events. Didn't we have a rerun before that lasted 30 days?
Yeah, we did at one
like...
point of time. It was ridiculously long, and it was just, like, obviously they're buying for time, but I think that was last year, not anytime this year.
Yes, it was very painful. So, yes, I'm glad that this event lasts only 18 days. I would rather it last only 2 weeks, but beggars cannot be choosers. But,
somewhat of an unceremonious grand return of Fashionista.
Yeah, but as for this event itself, it's kind of lame, actually. The Evo, like, I like Arachne's Evo, and that's about it. The rest of the content is whatever. I mean, Wakan's Evo is fine too, but he didn't necessarily need it, and the rest of the content is just kind of lame. So,
lame as in not bad, just not as interesting as we hoped. Well, that's my opinion.
I mean, I think the ARs are lame.
We'll see. The charm one might be helpful later if more units come out with charm, but yeah, right now not so. Anyway, if that's it, then I'm gonna go and read the comments. Alright. So thank you for the 99 Hidden. Your support is always appreciated. Even with Amatsumara slandered, a little off the hook. Split this and the previous with the others. Gotcha. I will be sure not to forget about Amatsumara next time. Also, I'll just rewind a bit and see what you're talking about. Also, just let anyone who's buffs don't overlap. Valentine eats Stamina just as a magic user was Kool-Aid BR and in center maps. I think you already read this. I'm being a clown. He was better off without it. I shake my head. It's been on a while since I saw this AR on the screen. I was very disappointed with that. Another great stream. Thank you so much, Joe. Luckily, I got on time when I got up when the stream started. Remember when the reprint events had drinks? What happened to that? I guess they're kind of pointless, but I don't know. The campaigns give plenty, it's fine. Then decided to move them to Anvari shop. Oh. Well, don't get them, but I'm sure you'll need them.
I'm pretty sure that we only had the drinks on the shop before because we didn't have the high difficulty quest tickets on the actual high difficulty quests, and that's why we had the drinks to compensate for it. I'm pretty sure that was what happened, but
that would have had to been Raiders of the Lost Isle, right? I feel like that's the only one that of recent memory, recent-ish, that had those shitty challenge quests that didn't even reward tickets.
Yeah, I think that's why people have like, oh, there was drinks, and yeah, it was on those that there was drinks, I think, but I also don't remember. That's the idea I have.
Yeah, well, I'd be happy if they returned. Though honestly, what I want more than regular drinks is lantern oils. Even up until this point, it's been out for 2 years, and the only way we get them is for campaigns. It's so bizarre. But anyway, let me just continue reading. Then decide to move to Anvari shop. The folders for the events are mislabeled as and are switched with each other. Doesn't really change what team you go in, so characters boost both drops, but that's kind of a big whoops in the end there. Yeah, I don't know. It's like the names are switched, I noticed, but it really doesn't matter, as you said. Just look at the map size, and that's all that matters. Bye, Ara.
It's like I said,
sorry.
There's too many errors in this rerun.
Yeah, it feels really scuffed.
What happened?
It's like, you know,
what happened?
It's like what's called Cinderella getting ready for the midnight hour, putting herself up for her reprint, and then she's like 4 hours late, and apparently just got like a bunch of shit ran over her before she returned to the ball. That's what it feels like. Very unmagical return of Fashionista. That rerun was extended for a week. I don't remember the timelines for Jamboree. I do feel like Jamboree was pretty long, but I feel like one of them was maybe about as long, but didn't deserve to be as long. Jamboree was a cool story, and it had a long story, and had a nice ARs and nice evos to kill time with. It might have been something like stupid like Setsupin again. I don't know. I don't remember Jamboree having a 30-day event. Good stream today. It might have been Set Sail too, perhaps. can do some Wakan Isaac pairs if he gives CP. I don't even remember what Isaac does anymore. He just does. I was so happy about like him being the strongest possession user because he had a cool design, and then he was instantly replaced by Masanori the moment Oz was revealed. So it's like now I just don't even like keep headspace for Isaac anymore. It's kind of sad. Central is in Persona 3? No. Anyway, that is it for this discussion. Thank you everyone for joining us for this talk. You can find our respective channels inside the description. Salgus makes some great welfare clears and 3-star or under clears. And Milk tries also to resist the meta in his own way using Marchosius a lot. And various other uncommon picks. And Irby has some really good meme thumbnails and also uses Taishakutan a lot, I suppose. So go check them out. I highly recommend you checking their videos out. But yeah, thanks for joining. And we'll just say our byes now. Alright, on 3, 1. 1, 2, 3.
Hey.
Bye.
Bye.